Good morning. My name is John Davis. It's my pleasure to be the presenter here today with a group of past champions from Indianola. I've got a quick PowerPoint presentation to kind of introduce you to Indianola. Some of you were there, some of you weren't, and you'll have to ask about some of the stories. I think actually partway through here, if Rich is around, we could have him smile and wave at the gong show, but we'll go on from there. So let's start with this presentation, and then we'll introduce everyone, and we'll have them give their comments and then answer some questions. Indianola really is our home, the starting place of the balloon fiesta. The Nationals were there from 1970 to 1988. Other than the first year, we ended up flying at Simpson College. Those of you who were there remember the lovely dorms that we stayed in. Did occasionally make the papers. Simpson Field was a lovely place to fly from. It wasn't very big, but it was kind of fun. The 1971 champion, Denny Flood, is here with us today. Bruce Comstock is here with us today.
That was a long time ago.
See how many you can pick out of 76 that you know now. The hairstyles were a little different. I don't know how many of you remember Eddie Allen and some of the flights that he made with us in Indianola. That's still Rob. It's a great aerial view of what we called the Nail, which was the water tower. This is in 77 when Tracy happened to bring a great tent that wrapped around the water tower. And some of you may have heard a record presentation earlier. I think they painted over the black mark that's on the nail, but I think the dent is still there. You all remember Bill? And Sid, unfortunately, is not able to be with us today. But Indianola was a great place to fly. We had a wonderful time there. You know, Jim, why you didn't put Raggedy Ann in there? Why you didn't put Raggedy Ann in there? So, a lot of you can look around the room and maybe recognize some of these people there. Some of the Hall of Famers actually have one here today, Dewey Reinhardt. That was the 1980 gas balloon championships where actually Dewey and I won the race and ended up going to the Worlds in Brussels. Another exciting match. Steve Jones.
Oh.
You still have that hat race?
No, I don't.
Bruce hit the target, which was a pretty typical thing. And it didn't seem to slow him down whether they filled the corner or not. Some of you remember the hidden bridge. This was a great task. But unfortunately, the trees covered the bridge. It's amazing how that Two great champions.
He shaved.
That was maybe the next year. Leslie could ride the bicycle, Dewey couldn't, but it was fun. What you see here is one of the reasons that we finally ended up moving from downtown out to the new bowling field.
Oh, come on. My son has
It
never
was
seen
prom
this.
photo.
I don't blame you.
A great task that involved a boat, and only 2 balloonists made it into the boat to get the extra points, Sid and my wife.
I was his observer.
Yeah.
And we all remember Bill, too.
You have a drop tube in there?
And sorry that Sid can't be here with us today. Sid isn't traveling much right now, so, but he's a great part of the champions that we've had. Some of you remember some of the cornfields, others were ditch wheat fields that you landed in and went, that looks interesting.
Oh, my.
So the hairstyles seem to have changed. I'm not sure whether it's because we had more hair then and we don't now. But I'm not sure any of us became sideburns like Rob. And a beard. So the Nationals ended in Indianola in 1988. And we started moving around. But we're here near Indianola, celebrating the champions of Indianola. You've all met them through the slides. And what I'd like to do is turn the mic over to them and see if, first of all, I'm going to want them to have one story. Because if we gave it to Bruce, he said that he had enough championships that he should have 60% of the time. I don't think we're going to let him do that. But what I'd like to do is turn the mic over to them and let them talk about their experiences. So let me start. You can give it to Bruce.
I'm going to give it to Danny.
Start with Bruce.
Yeah, give it to Danny. Give it to Danny.
I'll give it a story, because I have a lot.
No, one story.
No, I'll tell one story now. I don't want to stand, I like to stand up when I talk, because I feel less sleepy that way. Now I don't know what story to tell. Actually, what I want to do is I want to acknowledge the fact that Denny Foden trained me, and I felt really lucky to have the kind of training I got from him. Because not only was he really good at flying balloons, he was good at instructing, and that got me pointed in the right direction. After that, I claim the credit mostly for myself. And other people do something. But I just want to get Bruce the microphone. Is this? Oh, I mean, oh, okay. I'll just stand at this one because I guess I'm too tall. Still too tall for this one. What's a good story to tell? So many. I'll tell you an interesting one because I like stories with kind of lessons in them. And I was down in Indianola yesterday with Leslie, touring places I haven't seen for 23 years because I hadn't been back to Indianola since I left after the 1988 Nationals. So that was pretty moving. But we were standing at Simpson Field looking at it after marveling at how big the trees were. Many years later, 20 or 30 years later, I realized that we were standing close to one of the dorms next to the field where the scoring had been one year and where the results had been posted, would be posted on a door just outside. That year there was a qualification at the Nationals where we made a couple flights and then everyone was scored and then there was a cut. And the ones who were in the top half or whatever it was, they would be able to keep going on. The first flight was an evening fly-in to the field, I think it was, or maybe the newer actual balloon field across the street. And it was one of those flights where the wind shifted, as it does in the evening sometime. And I had a horrible result, and I thought, I'm probably not even going to make the cut. And so I was pretty downcast, but when they posted the scores, I noticed there was a crowd standing there, and I'm tall. I went over and I kind of stood on my tippy toes, and there's just two kind of rows of people in front of me. And I heard a little voice from the front saying, "Oh, look at Comstock, he's out of it." And I don't know who, to this day, I don't know who said that, but I should thank him, because I was standing, rocking on the balls of my feet, looking at these scores. And as soon as the guy said that, this little voice in my mind said, "We'll see." And then I decided, well, I've got to make a cut. So we made another flight, and I worked real hard, and I made the cut. Then I thought, okay, my total cumulative score is pathetic. I can't win the nationals or even do very well. I'm here, what can I do? So I thought, I'm going to work really hard and try to finish in the top 20 places. And we flew again, and I was in 17th place overall after that. So then I thought, this is crazy, now maybe I can be in the top 10. That's cool, because if you're in the top 10, they call you up at the banquet. You get recognized. And I thought, this would be amazing after the start I hated this thing. So we made another flight, and after the next flight, I was in 7th place overall. So the next goal was obvious to me, and that was the top 3. Because that's the win, place, or show, the gold, silver, bronze. And I thought, I can possibly make it into the top 3 now, although we're getting short on flights. So we flew again, and I was in 3rd place after that one. And then we made one more flight the next morning, and I won the national championship. So I wish I could thank whoever it is who made that time.
That was me.
I have about 1,000 more stories, but I'm going to give the microphone to someone else now.
Although I might comment that if you said somebody short in front, it might well mention.
Well, I'm probably the luckiest guy here when it comes to ballooning and open up